business is challenging, and you have to get out there. You have to find your clients. They're not just walking by, hey, nice, come work with me.
This is Don't Fear Grit with Rob Taormina. Marketing strategies and advertising technologies to help you build a better business.
Hey guys, welcome back. And today in the studio, we have an accountant, someone who helps with the bookkeeping and all that other wonderful stuff. So if you want to learn how to save money by giving the government less, trust me, you're going to want to listen to this entire show. This girl right here has all of the secrets, and I'm going to make her give them to you guys, which is kind of cool. Marisa?
Yes.
Welcome to Don't Fear Grit.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we actually just met last week. You attended an event that I had here.
Yes.
And you shared a few things about your business, and I'm like, I gotta have her on my show.
I appreciate it. I
gotta have her. She's innovative with what she's doing in the bookkeeping, in the tax world, accounting world. I'm like, perfect for the show. Yes. So I'm glad that you said yes. And today you are here in studio, and we are recording this episode.
Yes, I'm nervous. I'm excited, and hopefully I can get the word out there and help some people. That's really my goal. So,
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job of that. We talked a little bit off camera about what you're doing, some of your clients. Just give everyone, all the audience here, some context, a little bit about who you are. Tell them who you are, the name of your company, all that good stuff right now.
Sounds good. My name is Marisa Thompson, and my business is Flexibooks Business Services. And I am in the bookkeeping and accounting service, mainly targeting small businesses here on Long Island, maybe branching out even into Queens and Brooklyn, should they look for me. And I'm really here to kind of help manage the books and the small accounting world. There's a lot of businesses here on Long Island. There's a lot of contractors, service businesses, and a lot of them need help. Yeah. They might have one person in their office, but sometimes you have an accountant, and bookkeeping and accounting are very different things. Yes. And your accountant's kind of hitting you once a year, and they're taking care of things one time for you. But you have a whole year's worth of stuff you need to see and understand in order for your business to grow. And then there's other people who have a bookkeeper, but they don't always understand the full scope of how the business is working.
Sure.
So that's where I come in. I'm looking to make sure that the tedium of your bookkeeping is up to par, that everything, all those little details and those finite things that you need to ensure proper reporting are there and they're accurate. And then I'm going to analyze your reporting, and I'm going to ensure that you understand the health of your business, where you are. If you want to grow, what do you need to do? How are you going to save money? My specialty is in construction. I've dealt with a lot of contractors. I've been in construction for 15 years. And specifically,
you're the construction girl.
I am the construction girl.
I love it.
I've been in the trenches with these men. I've been in the field, not just behind the doors. When I first started, I was out there.
You know this world.
I do.
Yeah.
And I know how important it is for them to have accurate job costing, to understand the profitability, not only of the company, but on a project basis as well, who their good customers are. And not just guessing at those numbers. A lot of people like to guess. So we want to eliminate the guesswork.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're doing a really great thing here, because I don't know that a lot of people understand the difference between accounting and bookkeeping.
Yes.
And then they don't realize that there is massive benefits to having active bookkeeping throughout the year.
Absolutely.
Most people during either their quarterly tax returns or, April 15th is rolling around, everyone is just panicking and trying to put everything else together.
Yes.
What they don't realize, there's an easier way.
There's absolutely an easier way. And a lot of times when you're in that boat, I just sat with someone, I met with someone, and he was sharing with me that at the end of the year, he got hit with a huge bill because his books were all over the place. Yeah. His tax accountant said, hey, I'll do your taxes, but in order to get those numbers, I need to clean up your books. And so, but now your accountant is on a crunch time. There's a premium for that, and so he's going to do that. And this is, accountants are wonderful. And as an accountant, I completely understand the idea of materiality and what's important in the big picture. Yeah. But on the opposite end of that spectrum, as a bookkeeper, I'm concerned with all of the details. And materiality isn't a factor for me.
Sure.
So I want to make sure I get both of those things in there. So when you're dealing with just that bottom line at the end of the year, you're missing some of those smaller details sometimes, and that can be important.
Yeah. And I want to clear this up for people that are thinking I have an accountant, I don't need a bookkeeper. Having a bookkeeper, and you're saying cleaning up your books, it's not just so that you can easily read it.
Yes.
Although that is a benefit, it actually saves a ton of money. Can you go into that a little bit? How in fact can a bookkeeper save a business or someone money?
Yes. So the idea is, again, that throughout the course of the year, you're actively moving. Your business isn't stopping because your books aren't being done, you know? And so my experience has been that a lot of people are guessing where they're spending, how much they're spending, just like in our personal lives. Oh, I only spend a couple dollars on a cup of coffee. You add up those cups of coffee over the course of a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a month, and you realize, wow, I could have put this money away to a retirement plan or something like that. So we want to analyze those things. We want to see, where's the money being wasted? Where can we clean that up? You know, how can we get better financing and get better rates? How can we ensure we have great business credit? Your balance sheet is going to give you, you know, the ultimate health of your business. You want to look at cash flow statements. I don't know how often small businesses are looking at cash flow statements. You want to see where your money is going. If you need that financing, what's your best way to get that? So these are the things you want to analyze. You don't want to get financing and be paying, you know, crazy interest rates or be hit with loans that are not conducive to your business growth. So those are the things that, you know, you want to deal with on a regular.
Wow, it really sounds like having a bookkeeper is like having a CFO really on your team.
It is. It is. I mean, it can be. Again, so, you know, the subtle differences is just really how much detail is going into it. And as the bookkeeper, you're responsible for those details. You are going to see every invoice. You're going to see every payment. You're going to see every bank deposit and everything else. As an accountant, I'm coming in, I'm doing an analysis. I'm going to compare statements, but I'm not looking at every transaction. Again, both are important for different reasons, but they're both equally important. So that's where I come in. That's what I want to emphasize to a lot of people is, you know, not to undermine the bookkeeping part. That part matters. So we want to do that. And with a lot of contractors, again, job profitability is equally as important as well. You want to know who your good clients are. You want to know where you're making money. You know, a lot of contractors, they may have different divisions as well. What division is serving you better than the other? So what division do you need to focus more attention on to increase your profits there? So that's where we get into the nitty gritty, and you know that's what I want to help my clients to do. Gotcha.
Now, with a really well organized bookkeeping, at the end of the year when your taxes are sort of coming due quarterly or you know coming April 15th, the way that you do it, can you also find ways to save money as far as paying even less taxes?
Well, the idea is that with me, we will work with a tax accountant. I'm not replacing that person. I don't handle taxes, but we will work to figure out, you know, what retirement plans, you know, can we set up for your company, for you as a solo entrepreneur, a small business owner, make sure that we take care of, you know, benefits for your employees in a way that serves them, but also serves you as the business owner. So there's lots of ways, you know, business investments and other ways. You know, there's sometimes holding another company. So you have a contract company, but you have an LLC that holds real estate. All of that is perfectly fine. And then we find different avenues to distribute the funds to make sure everything is going through all the proper, legal, correct financial channels that will then save you money at the end of the year.
You're hitting on something really important. And I'm going to title it as knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Right? Everyone, without a doubt. So, you know, a lot of people that we go into business, whether it be a marketing company, a contracting company, you're building commercial buildings, residential buildings, right? All these things, that person becomes an expert at what they do. They are an expert architect, an expert builder, whatever the case may be, right? They're not an expert though in accounting. They're not an expert in tax law. They're not an expert in bookkeeping. Having that person on your side is like having a superhero.
Absolutely.
Because they are the people that are armed with the knowledge that can help you as far as in the moment save money. But now you've mentioned some great things long term. Now, how can we make you more money by being aware of all these great things and working hand in hand with the accountant? And I'm going to say firsthand, and I'm going to offend a lot of accountants here, is, you know, accountants, they come in and oftentimes they try to do a job for the business, right? They process their tax returns for the business. However, I haven't met a lot of accountants though, who what they do is, what they bring to the table is, all right, there's this tax law, there's this tax law, this tax law, we're going to maximize this. No, their focus is filing your tax returns. And so to having someone in your back pocket like you, who knows the lingo. I don't know the lingo. You do. You know, honestly, it's like having a superhero in your back pocket. It's incredible.
Absolutely. So, you know, we don't want to wear every hat. That gets too cumbersome. It's too much. And you're never going to excel at anything if you're wearing every single hat. You have marketing down to a science, and that is not my hat to wear. I will not wear that hat, but I will learn what I can, do it on a smaller scale, and then you outsource, like you said. So, yeah, we want to get to a point where we outsource. But I also pride myself in trying to build those relationships where I can become part of the team. I want my clients to feel like while I'm not working for them and I'm not in their office every day. I want them to feel they can call me, they can text me, they can email me. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
I am a part of your team. I am your in-house person who, when something's happening, you're not sure where this goes or how to handle it, or you need advice, I will help you to get there. I will help you to figure out. And look, I honestly don't claim to know every single thing. None of us do. But I'm a great resource, and I will never steer you wrong. I will not give you false information. I'd rather tell you, let me look into this and let me find out, and I will give you the correct information or the correct resource to look into to get there. So I want to be a part of that team. I think it's important to have relationships.
So for that person who's listening to this right now, they're like, all right, I drank the Kool-Aid. You're right. I need a bookkeeper. And they're like, you know what? I'm just going to hire from within and just assign this to one of my team members. What do you say to that?
I say to that, is that person qualified?
Yeah.
People have their specialties. People have, their strengths, and then people have their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I am not here to push anybody out the door. I can work with that person. I've had that happen. I've had people who they have somebody in-house, and honestly, that actually works better for me. That gives me a contact inside that I can work with on a regular basis as needed to ensure that they're doing what they need to do on the inside, and that I'm able to do what I need to do from the outside. So that's perfectly okay to have that person, but you also need to know and be honest with that person, and have them be honest with you about where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are. There are plenty of bookkeepers here, but not every bookkeeper is an accountant, and not every accountant is a bookkeeper. So we want to ensure, I'm hoping to give clients that balance of both, and that's really what my strengths are. So having that in-house person is fine, and that's great, and I love it. And, let's keep people working, let's keep people employed, but let's figure out how to utilize where they're going to best benefit your business.
Right. I think it's a disservice. I think when people try to hire from within to handle really important jobs like this, where that the market has amazing, really highly qualified people, highly experienced people to be able to handle this, I think it's actually foolish. Because oftentimes I think people look at, let's say, a bookkeeper. A lot of them they look at it as an expense, right? Where for me, I look at it as an investment.
That's what it should be.
I might be, let's say I bring someone in and it costs me X amount of dollars. All you got to think, to justify it, how much money is this person saving me? How much money is this person making me? And then you realize, wow, this is an investment, not an expense.
It absolutely is an investment. First of all, being an outside source, I'm not working for you. You eliminate all of those employee costs that come with it. So that's
you don't have to pay health benefits.
There's no benefits. There's no insurance, no workers' comp. You can avoid all of that. You don't have to offer me a 401k. Everybody's happy. It is a disservice. Again, I have a client right now who's been really, really great to work with. We've only been together a short time, but in this short time, I feel like they've been great. Why they've been great? I feel like they've been great because they've been open. They realize where they need help, where they're lacking. They have someone who works in their office, and she's there to handle the day-to-day stuff. She's entering things. I sat with her, and I reviewed where we need things to go. Because, again, you can put something on the profit and loss statement, but then there's a difference between what's cost of goods versus what's expenses.
True.
Not everybody sees or realizes that picture. And so I sat with her. We reviewed where things need to be categorized. How are we allocating? Ensuring proper expenses and job costs and all of those things. So she's doing her side of things with the data entry. I come in, I'm making sure the cleanup is done. I'm making sure everything is being reported correctly. I'm going through the bank reconciliations. I'm looking at deposits. I'm doing all of that heavier work that might be a little bit too much for her. But then it's saving you the cost at the end of the year of now you're handing over books to your accountant. They say, hey, okay, $15,000 and I'll take care of this for you. Yeah. So, that's the goal. That's the goal.
So at the end of the year, when it requires that conversation with the accountant, do you also get involved with that?
I can.
You can?
I can. Okay. Again, I am here to be a part of the team.
That's awesome.
So you tell me what you need from me.
You'll do it.
If you feel more comfortable saying, hey, look, I'd like to have you guys sit. It doesn't even have to be the end of the year. I've had some clients say, hey, I have an accountant. I want you to work with me, but I'd like you to also keep in communication with them. I absolutely can do that. Let me know from a tax perspective, because again, book reporting, according to GAAP, versus tax accounting is also different. So, let me know from a tax perspective what we can do that will still meet GAAP requirements, but also allow them to save money, that will make tax time easier, that'll make the transition smoother for you to do the conversions. That's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that, and I actually encourage it. I think it's better.
Yeah. Now, another question I know a lot of people have about adding a bookkeeper to their team is it's way too expensive. I can't afford it. I can't afford another massive salary. So therefore, that's maybe another big deterrent for a lot of people.
Correct.
And I know every single client presents a different sort of, package, or I don't know how you price things out. But, let's talk about the affordability of being able to hire someone like you, even versus hiring someone just in-house. Is this an affordable solution for businesses?
It is an affordable solution. It can be. I think, though, that sometimes people have to be realistic with what their business needs are. So everybody wants a lot for a little.
Oh, yeah.
And like anything, you want quality work, you want good service, you want things to be right and accurate, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that, I'm doing it for pennies, but at the same time, like I mentioned before, it does save you employee costs. You're not having all of that overhead expense. But it is affordable. I have packages. I can work with people based on their needs and their budget. I've sat down and I've, reviewed the entire scope of work. And I say, hey, this is what I believe you need. This is what we can do. And honestly, if it's not within your budget at the moment, let's discuss your budget. Let's see what we can fit for that and still make this work for you.
Yes.
I'm absolutely willing to do that. At the end of the day, my goal is not to, we're all here to make money, but
Right.
I'm also here to help people. I'm here. This is what I do. This is what I love. This
course.
is what I enjoy. So I'm hoping to, again, be a part of a team where people feel like this is somebody I can trust. I'm all about integrity. I'm all about honesty and communication. Let's be transparent always. So there's never any hidden secrets.
Yes.
Your books are yours. They are not mine. So you can see, you can ask questions about whatever is there. I am more than willing to explain, to teach, to encourage you to ask those questions if you're not sure about how it works and what's going on. So it is absolutely affordable.
Yeah.
Again, I'm willing to work with my clients. I have clients of different scales, so obviously, they're going to have different budgets.
Of course.
So that's the goal. But
yeah, I've learned, because listen, I own a media company. We do a lot of stuff. So I work with clients on a regular basis. And here's the one thing I know for a fact. Everyone wants it fast. They want the best quality, and they want cheap.
Yeah.
Here's a fact.
Cheap doesn't do you a service.
It's impossible to have all three.
Yes.
It's impossible because if you want it fast, you're going to compromise quality.
Right.
It's impossible. If you want it fast, that means it requires more resources, so it's not going to be cheap.
Correct.
So you can never actually, it's impossible.
Correct.
And the way that I actually share this with my clients, I'm like, just thinking about yourself. If you were approached by someone in your line of work who wanted all three, what would you say to them?
Correct.
It's an impossibility. It's just the world doesn't work this way. And if we wanted to be charitable with what we were doing, that we would start a 501c3. And it would be great. Listen, it would be great if we could do more of that. But the reality of it, they're in business just like we are. Absolutely. We're providing a value. And we want to get value in return. It's a balanced exchange of goods for compensation. So I think it's fine. I think that people just need to be a little bit more honest about that whole theory of fast, free,
right.
and good and amazing quality. It's impossible.
It is impossible. And at the end of the day, what happens is you wind up paying somewhere. So it's making a choice of where you want to pay. Would you rather invest your money in a service that's going to serve you well? Because throughout the year, this is not only making sure your books are in order for the end of the year, this is also getting you to a point where you understand the financial health of your business, that you can grow, that you can scale.
It's an investment, not an expense.
Absolutely. If you have business goals and you have newer heights you're trying to reach, knowing this throughout the course of the year as things are actively taking place affords you the opportunity to make changes and to shift gears where you need to.
Yes.
If you're waiting till the end of the year and now you're getting hit with a lump sum tax bill or accounting bill because you waited to do it and things are a mess, again, you're still paying.
Yes.
And then if not, you're paying because you lost money somewhere else, or now you owe someone something because you missed you're paying. It's just where you want to pay. So keep that in mind would be my suggestion.
Switching gears just a little bit, I want to just talk about you as an entrepreneur, the business side of things now, and I think that something that you've done brilliantly is you've picked a niche. I think where a lot of businesses are struggling right now, they're struggling because they're failing to recognize it's much harder to be this general person. I'm going to generally provide a service to everyone.
Yes.
Now we're very much niche specific. Is you want to, consumers want to find someone who's really good at what they do,
Correct.
a lot of experience in that area. You're brilliant in that. You have focused on that early on.
Thank you.
And I know you shared with me a little bit of your story, but how did you, let's share with the audience now, how did you discover your niche?
For me, I stumbled into it. There was no great plan for this.
Yeah.
My husband actually, I don't always give him credit, but this is one time that I can. My husband actually was really instrumental in shifting my thought patterns when it came to business and when it came to working. My parents are amazing, but I definitely had more of that traditional upbringing about, you go to school, you go to college, you want to aim high always, get a job, make lots of money, and life is great. And I'm one of those person who sets goals and I'm on the fast track to achieve them. And I get there and it's like, okay, this is great. And I love it. And I feel blessed that I was able to do it. But then I sit back and I'm like, all right, I have a new goal now. And so in my experience, he helped to shape how I thought about business and what I would be able to do. I've always been a leader. So just in college, I was already working and just, coworkers, I met somebody and he introduced me to somebody who needed somebody to work with them. Happened to be in the construction world. Yep. I actually wasn't doing accounting then. I was in school, but I came into the business working in their warehouse. So I was overseeing all the field operations. I was making sure, I took all the orders for whatever equipment, materials, everything the guys needed in the field. I scheduled all the truck routes, got the truck drivers loaded at the end of the day.
So you worked in that industry.
I was driving forklifts.
Come on, are you serious?
I absolutely was. I was probably like the only girl who
No
drive
way.
a forklift. I absolutely was.
Okay.
I was loading trucks. I did all of that.
All right, so you don't know just bookkeeping and
I
numbers.
Do know construction.
You literally worked in construction.
I'm not laying rebar or anything like that. But yes, I have an idea of how the
You were a Home Depot girl.
I was a Home Depot girl.
Love it.
I did all the machines there, and
wow.
I was that girl. I was always like, I want to learn more. I want to know more. I want to, even if I never use it, but I can say, hey, I did that once, So that was me. And so just with that, I did well with my company early on. I was doing accounting and they kind of switched me over. I had a great mentor, my CFO at that company. He was absolutely one of my best assets at that time. He was willing to take me under his wing. He showed me the ropes and he taught me great accounting. I was like way ahead of the game. School had nothing on what I was learning hands-on. Yeah. So I've been in construction pretty much since then. I've done public accounting as well. The firm that I worked with handled, I want to say 90-something% construction clients. We deal with some manufacturing and real estate and things of that nature. But mostly we were dealing with contractors there as well. Yeah. So that's been my industry for the past 15 years. Again, I've been in the trenches. I've worked publicly with clients. I've worked privately with clients. Yes. And I'd like to think that with each place that I went to, I don't think I do know. I'll be a little cocky.
Yeah, there you go. Confidence.
I know that I was able to contribute a great deal to how they manage their books and how they handled their business and their accounting end of things. And I'm good with working with the guys in the field too. Yeah.
That's an incredible asset. And this is what I was alluding to, is having someone who's niche specific like you, but you're unique in that you actually worked in that industry.
I did.
You were a Home Depot girl. You worked for a construction company. You're very familiar with that area. You know the lingo. You know what I mean? You are a massive asset to a construction company to come on board as a partner, right? And invest, they're investing in a partner in a way without giving any equity away.
Exactly.
And to help them make more money by saving and also investing into their future. This is huge. This is why I think you've been successful and you're going to continue to be incredibly successful, sticking to a niche because you know it really, really well. And every construction company out there, this is your plug, should hire you. Honestly, they should hire you. And this is, I'm not trying to be offensive to other accounting firms or bookkeeping firms. However, if you don't have a team player who really understands your particular type of market, your customer, what you're doing, your clients, you're at a disadvantage. However, if you have a team player like yourself who already has the relationships, who already knows the market, it's like I said before, it's like that superhero in the back pocket.
In the back pocket. I literally understand the full scope of how it works. I understand the bidding process, estimating, having to win these awards. I understand that transition from getting it from estimating now to your project management, them overseeing it. If there's assistant project managers on site, getting it to your site supers and making sure that everything happens the way it needs to in the field. Understanding the essence of time in construction and how time is money. Time is always money, but very much so in this industry, time is money. If you have a guy on site with no machinery and no material and he can't work, especially for union companies, you're paying a lot of money down the drain. I understand that full scope. And then I also understand how all of those operations and all of that overhead then translates back to your books. and what that means for you. So again, the goal is to evaluate all of those things, and not just the it's not just the money, because these things contribute to where that goes. You know, are you utilizing the best vendors? Are you negotiating the best rates? Things like that. Sales tax is important in this industry. There's so many different aspects of sales
that's a
tax.
whole other ball game.
It is, and I am not an expert. However, I know enough of the basics, and I have people in that field who can definitely help to guide, because there's so many rules when it comes to sales tax. I've been through 3 sales tax audits with different companies. Those are not fun, especially when things are not up to par. Yes, so the more in order your books are, when those audits come, whether they're insurance audits, whether they're sales tax audits, whatever audits, you know, your auditor is going to see, oh, their books are in order. They have their paperwork together. That makes a difference, too, for the auditor when they're coming in. They're going to give a little bit more leniency because they see you guys have things the way they're supposed to be. You walk into a company where there's like a cardboard box over there and some paper stacked over there, and they're shuffling through. You know, you're going to tend to lean towards the fact that maybe they don't have things the way they should. Yeah. And that's just appearances. So we want to make sure all of those things, you know, full circle, are in place.
Awesome.
Team member.
Love it. So you as an entrepreneur, you started your own business.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What was one of the biggest challenges that you faced at the beginning stages of starting your own business? Oh,
I'm going to be completely honest, and my business is still very new, so it is still a challenge for me. But transitioning from not having that set finances and knowing what that paycheck is going to be, and I've been fortunate to do pretty well and pretty much going, you know,
it could be scary. I get it.
Very scary. And I am definitely a worker. I just had a baby last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so that was part of what contributed to me saying, I'm going to take this leap of faith. It was something I was dabbling in, but there's no way I'm going to work for somebody full-time, deal with my children at home full-time, and run a business and be successful. If I wanted to be successful, I had to go all in and have faith that I could do it. So it was definitely just figuring out and allowing my husband to take the burden. I am not the wife that is okay with that. I will be absolutely honest. I'm like, I'm going crazy. I'm like, I have to be a part of that picture. And so that has probably been my biggest challenge personally. But already in my business, I see how many roller coasters there are. And business is challenging. And it's, you have to get out there. You have to find your clients. They're not just walking by, hey, nice, you know, come work with me. So finding clients, talking to people, meeting people, getting your name out there, stepping out of your comfort zone. Me coming here today was stepping out of my comfort zone.
You got to do it, right?
Absolutely. So, you know, you do have to wear many hats at times. There comes a time where you shift gears and you know when to pass those hats along to others. But at this early stage, I'm comfortable wearing the hats. I'm comfortable being a leader. I'm comfortable taking charge. I am not comfortable with all of the roller coasters and the emotional ties that come with it. But
being an entrepreneur is hard.
Very.
You know, where it's sometimes can present, you know, the flexibility to be able to maybe be present in the middle of the day for your son or your daughter. Being an entrepreneur, that was not a 9 to 5. You're literally working and accessible 24/7. You're working before everyone. You're working after everyone. So if you're thinking, I'm going to become an entrepreneur so I can work less,
no, you're working more. You are working more. And because, you know, you go to a job, you have a position and you have to fulfill these duties. And you go there and you leave and your duties are done until the next day. As an entrepreneur, you know, I have to actually do the work. I have to do my clients' books. I have to do my own books. But then I'm going out networking. I'm talking to people. I have meetings. I have this. I have 2 young children at home. I'm waking up 4:30, trying to hit the gym and get to work before the girls get up. And I'm working late at night because there's not mornings where that always happens because my little one is like, I'm doing what I want to do at 4:30 in the morning. So, you know, my schedule sometimes is kind of crazy. But it is. It's all over the place. It's working hard, but it's super fulfilling. We are in a day and age where we are fortunate that there's a space for everyone. And if you work hard, if you grind, if you treat people with respect, that goes a long way. People appreciate having somebody that they respect and who respects them. Integrity, honesty, all of those good qualities that we already know, actually having and possessing those things are important. And then for me too, I am a Christian, I am faith-driven, and I like to think of God as my mentor and CEO. I've had some people who've given me that, and I'm like, that's an absolutely wonderful way to run my business. He's the leader of my life, let him be the leader of my business. So
I love
I'm
that
stepping out on
philosophy.
faith and
Yeah.
praying, and he's going to take care of me.
He already has.
He has. He absolutely has. Thank you.
That's amazing. Very, very cool.
Thank you.
So give me a tip. I want to know, like, what is a great tip for someone who owns a construction company as it relates to what you do?
As it relates, I would say details. Most construction companies are men-owned, although we women are stepping up. There's a lot of women-owned businesses now, especially in construction, and I love it. And this is by no means trying to be offensive to men or being sexist, but I think we all have our strengths, and most men, their strengths are not details. My husband will very readily admit that it's not his.
No,
Yes.
or any hashtag truth.
Hashtag truth. So in my experience, men don't focus on that.
Yeah.
And it is important. Do you have to grit every penny, every little negotiation? Maybe not. But it is important to understand how those details translate to your big picture. Again, most companies want to see profitability, and they want to know how their jobs are doing. A lot of them are just guessing. We don't want to guess. We want to know. And that comes down to the details. What you put in is what you're going to get out. If you want accurate and proper reporting, you need to put that information in, and it has to be right. You're not going to get it otherwise. So I would absolutely say details, although that sounds maybe a little cliche and broad, but I think it's important.
No, I think it's great advice, and
Thank
you
you.
nailed it.
Thank you.
We're going to be finishing up here soon. 2 questions, the hardest ones. Are you ready?
Okay, I am ready.
The number 1, how do you define the word grit?
Grit. I think grit is like, I'm a Queens girl. I'm a street girl. So grit is like, that's in my area. That's being rough and tough and rugged and overcoming all of that. That's not being afraid to get in the trenches and work hard and coming out all the better for it. That's how I think of grit.
I love that answer. That's amazing. All right, 2, what is either the last book that you read or a book that you highly recommend to people?
Oh my gosh. This should be an easy question because I literally am a book lover and I read all the time.
You're a bookworm, huh?
I am. What book do I recommend? Is it like business oriented?
Anything. It could be Dr. Seuss. It doesn't matter to me. Listen, having kids, I read a lot of kids' books, so sometimes my first answer is like
books,
something
kids
good.
shows. I absolutely understand. This really shouldn't be this tough for me. This was your hardest question so far. Book. I actually loved Michelle Obama's book. To be honest, I thought her book was great.
Yeah.
I respect her. I love her. I am definitely a women's power kind of girl.
Yeah, good for you.
I think that we women are tenacious. I think we're amazing. I think we have great qualities, and I think we're overlooked. And I definitely can respect all of these women who are, doing it big, taking things, head on, not being afraid, and whatever arena that may be. But I did love Michelle Obama's book. Becoming.
Awesome.
That's the name of it.
There you go. It's a good recommendation right there.
Yes, thank you.
Very, very cool. Well, listen, honestly, you're killing it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You have this just natural sort of innate understanding of this whole process of being an entrepreneur, and you're clearly not afraid to work.
I'm not.
And I think that is key in entrepreneurship is first, you can't be afraid to work.
Yes.
If your intent is to work less, you're going to fail. Don't do it.
Right.
You have to work first mindset, be okay with those long hours, not being afraid to be a little bit gritty like you were saying.
Right.
I think it's amazing what you're doing.
Laziness gets us nowhere in life.
Nowhere.
And that's not just with work. That's with anything. Like life should be all about learning and moving forward and finding that next thing to tackle. That's what I think.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, this is your moment. I want you to plug away. I want everyone to know where they can find you, whether it be social media, your website. Tell everyone right now exactly your name of your business, and where to find you.
Yes. Again, my name is Marisa Thompson. Thank you guys for listening to me. My business is Flexibooks Business Services. I'm your virtual bookkeeper and accountant. Feel free to call me. Feel free to check out my website, Flexibooks Service, SERVICE.com. I'm also on social media, flexibooksservice.com, or Flexibooks Service, whatever it is, on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to find me, and I look forward to speaking with you and hopefully helping you in the future.
Can I put you on the spot and ask you to give everyone like a free consultation right now?
I do free consultations.
Oh, well, then there you go.
I do. I am a believer in ensuring that you can get who wants to walk in the door and I'm paying for something and I
Yeah.
don't even know if you're going to give me a consultation that's worthwhile. Maybe you can't tell me anything I know.
Yes.
So I do. Feel free to give me a call. We can sit down. We can set up a meeting. We can talk about your business needs.
Okay.
I'm willing to do that for free.
Okay.
And hopefully you will appreciate all the good advice I have for you and you will sign on with me as a client.
There you go. So it doesn't cost you anything to call her, get at least some free advice from her. I recommend anyone who's in the construction world to call you. You might get a few people who are not and be like, I just still want to hire you.
That's absolutely okay. That's
I'm sure you
absolutely
would
okay.
welcome it. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you yourself own a construction company, if you work for a construction company, pass on the information to your boss. If you know someone who's in that world, I highly recommend you guys connecting that person with you. You clearly are very, very smart. You know your stuff.
Thank you.
And you can save someone a lot of money.
Yes, and thank you again for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to have you back.
Right,
Because
great.
you're going to become my expert, by the way.
Look, I didn't want to be on camera. Next thing I'm going to be here every day.
I'm telling you, you're gonna be on TV all the time,
Right.
As everyone's resident expert in this area. So it's
I
incredible.
appreciate it.
Well
Thank
done,
you.
honestly.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here. All right, guys, there you have it. Please go follow her. She really is amazing at what she does, and please connect with her and ask her lots of questions. Because remember, that is not just an expense. That really is an investment into your business and your future. So it's incredible. I'm giving you my endorsement right now.
I appreciate it.
You got it. Awesome. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember, don't fear the process and don't fear grit. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.